We tested 14 popular weight loss tricks. You've probably noticed that the internet is full of weight loss tips and tricks, promising to fulfill this dream in a flash. But there's so much information out there that we can easily get overwhelmed and confused. Which recommendations can we trust? Well, we at Brightside have decided to conduct our very own experiment. One of our editors has tested firsthand the internet's most common body slimming techniques so that you can make out fact from fiction. Get ready for an eye-opener! Please keep in mind that everybody is different. What works for one person might not work for another, and vice versa. In this video, we want to share our own experience and conclusions. Tip number 14. Drink water before each meal. 15 to 20 minutes before having a meal, drink a glass of water at room temperature. Water fills you up and keeps you from overeating. You also burn calories while warming the water up to body temperature. Ever wonder how ballerinas keep that beautiful lean form? This is their secret. It's also proven that this technique will spare you over 100 calories per glass. Well, I managed to trick my stomach into feeling full for maybe 10 minutes. After that, the hunger came back. Unfortunately, I ate no less than usual. Our verdict? Nope. Tip number 13. Aromatherapy. While cooking, your appetite can decrease or vanish completely. Yes, and it happens because all those mouth-watering smells trick our brain into thinking that we're full. This is why aromatherapists recommend those wishing to lose weight to breathe in the scent of apples, mint, or vanilla while dieting. Research shows that people who do this boost their endurance and physical performance, lose body fat, and curb weight gain. What can I say? The intense aroma really does reduce appetite, but not for that long. After half an hour, the hunger returns with a vengeance, stronger than before. Our verdict. This actually does work, but not for long. Tip number 12. Brush your teeth instead of having dessert. Another way to fight off cravings is to brush your teeth instead of eating something you don't really need. How does it work? Well, first of all, this method exploits people's laziness. You think to yourself, I've just brushed my teeth, they're clean, and I don't want to do it again later. Not to mention, the minty feeling of the toothpaste in your mouth sends a signal to your brain that the meal is over. So let's try to trick our brains. What happened? Strangely enough, exactly what was promised. Even if there was a pang of hunger, going for lunch wasn't on my mind for another hour or two. That's because, for me at least, I associate brushing my teeth as a sign that the day is over and it's time for bed. Our verdict? This works. Tip number 11. Eat standing up. Can you believe that 67% of people sit for 20 hours a day? So many dietitians recommend standing while eating, and it should be done for several reasons. First of all, when you're standing, your body burns more calories. Also, you get full faster and eat less. I did eat less than normal, but not due to getting full faster. I just got tired of standing around with a plate. Our verdict? Yes, this works, but not actually how it's supposed to. Plus, when we're standing, our stomach isn't as compressed as when we're sitting, so more food can fill it. I'm surprised it even works at all. Tip number 10. Hold silverware with the wrong hand. Psychologists assure us that when we dine with the wrong hand, our non-dominant hand, we eat less eagerly due to the awkward feeling. Therefore, we end up eating much less. As for me, I'm a righty and not that great at using my left hand. But still, eating with my left hand was just as easy as with my right one. Our verdict? It made so much sense. Too bad it doesn't work. Tip number 9. Use cool colors in the kitchen. Did you know that if the color of our food contrasts with our plate, it has a psychological effect? A study was conducted, revealing shocking results. When the contrast between the food and the plate was minimal, participants served themselves 30% more food. Some people who tend to overeat are advised to up the contrast by using dishware with cool tones – blues, purples, and greens. Given that most foods, especially junk food, have warm tones – reds, oranges, and yellows. Besides, cool colors supposedly suppress your appetite and calm you down. I was surprised to find that when surrounded by cool colors, I really didn't want to eat that much. Maybe the effect is stronger if the food isn't that appetizing. All the same, I didn't finish that bowl of soup. Our verdict: this works. Tip number 8. Dine in the twilight. Here's a tip popular in Europe. During a meal in a darker place, we don't notice how much food is left on our plate and end up eating just as much as we need, no more. Volunteers in an interesting experiment were blindfolded and served food. Having finished their meal, they were sure they had eaten 88% more than they actually did. To me, eating in semi-darkness felt festive and ritual-like. Enjoying the atmosphere, I ended up eating more slowly, savoring the food, and getting full before finishing my plate. Our verdict: it works, but possibly for another reason. Tip number 7. Choose foods that digest more slowly. Dishes of about equal weight and calorie content can actually take different amounts of time to digest. For example, in the morning, it's probably a good idea to have eggs rather than oatmeal. This will help you stay full until lunch. My morning oatmeal digested way too fast, and my hunger returned in an hour. My omelet, however, lasted much longer, maybe because there's more fat in it. Thanks to that, I felt good and didn't want to eat again until lunch. Our verdict: it's better to eat eggs for breakfast, not oatmeal, and we'll continue to experiment with other options. Tip number 6. Dress up for meals. When eating while dressed up, we subconsciously behave more formally. We are neater, we eat more slowly, and we chew more thoroughly. Plus, a tight dress won't let you overeat. I can tell you for sure that this one's true. When wearing a nice dress, you constantly worry about staining it. Moreover, you try to sit up straight and eat carefully. As a result, I ate quite little, but got considerably full. Our verdict: works great, but then again, the time it takes to dress up. Tip number 5. Eat 2 pieces of dark chocolate when hungry. In small quantities, dark chocolate gives you energy, curbs your appetite, and actually doesn't make you fat. In fact, it even improves your metabolism. Chocolate lovers rejoice! I've been using this trick for a long time, and pretty successfully. A couple of pieces of dark chocolate with a cacao content of 70% or more reduce hunger, and cravings for other junk foods disappear as well. I feel full afterwards for at least an hour. It's a shame dark chocolate isn't always on hand. Our verdict: oh yes! Tip number 4. Acupuncture. According to the practice of acupuncture, one of the main points of the body for reducing appetite is located between the upper lip and the nose. Place your index finger a little above your upper lip and massage the point with some pressure for a few minutes. This will help ease hunger pangs. I've heard that acupuncture is a tried and tested ancient technique. However, for me personally, it did nothing whatsoever. Our verdict: unfortunately, it's a fail. Tip number 3. Food separation. Nutritionists recommend separating the food on your plate into halves. One you eat now, the other one later. You can also decrease your calorie intake throughout the day. For instance, for breakfast you can eat bigger portions of food, and those extra calories you consume in the morning will be burnt throughout your waking hours. Food rationing is my favorite tip, and it works really well. By eating a little every 2 hours, I didn't want to snack on junk food. Besides, my stomach was always content, neither empty nor full. Our verdict? It works. Tip number 2. Chew everything 40 times. The longer we chew, the more time there is for our brain to realize that our body has had enough to eat. Remember that our brain understands we are full a whole 20 minutes after we really are. Dietitians say that 40 is the ideal number of chews if you want to lower your calorie consumption. This is an old method, and my grandmother swears by it, and it partially works. Of course, I didn't manage to chew everything exactly 40 times because after a while there was no food left to chew. But I did end up eating less. Maybe I just got tired of chewing so much. Our verdict? Works to an extent if you're patient enough to chew properly. Tip number 1. Use a smaller plate. This is considered an effective way to lose weight. We subconsciously want to fill our plate with food. So the trick is to fill up a smaller plate, which means you're dishing yourself out less food. Research shows that reducing your plate size by 30% reduces the amount of food you eat also by 30%. You know, the same amount of food looks entirely different on different plate sizes. When using a big plate, I feel like I'm eating bird-sized portions. A small one makes me think I'm eating like a horse. In the end, I didn't even finish the salad on my little plate. Our verdict? It works. Conclusion. Before the experiment, I thought that healthy eating meant greatly reducing your meal options. But some unusual tips and tricks work too. Just don't blindly take my word for it though. Something that didn't work for me might very well work for you, and vice versa. What means and methods do you use to shed extra pounds? Share in the comments. If you also tried or repeated our particular experiment, or even if you recently started a weight loss journey, please hit the like button. Send this video to your friends and let them conduct their own experiments. And don't forget to click subscribe to be with us on the bright side.